Hello YouTube, LD50 here. Just got a little video for you with some information about the clone and drone build that seems to be everybody's favourite at the moment. With the release of the last patch, Gearbox has increased the damage of action skill. It now scales with Mayhem. This means that the clone has become a very powerful action skill on Zane, and what makes it so powerful is that you can give the clone a gun and he will get more out of it than you can get out of it yourself. The gun that everyone is using at the moment for this is the gun I have in my hands, which is the O.P.Q System. The O.P.Q System was an event weapon that was released during the cartel events this year in 2020. That's why mine is currently level 57, because the event is over and it's no longer available to get. However, level 57 on a level 60 character is perfectly good enough. What's so good about this gun is it's a kinetic gun, but it has shock splash damage, and the shock splash damage is what's being amplified by the action skill. So we're going to have a quick talk about the build and how we get this gun into the hands of our clone. So this build is revolving around the clone and the drone. And we will go down the drone tree first. This is the tree that most people who play Zane are very familiar with. If they play drone and barrier, that would be the green tree and the blue tree, then they'll be very familiar. But anyway, we'll go down it very quickly. I've taken my class mod off just so that we can see all of the points where they're going. So I'm putting 5 points into violent speed and 5 points into violent momentum. The violent momentum is obviously giving us that 20% damage bonus at walking speed, and obviously the faster we go, the greater that damage. That damage also applies to the clone. On our next tier down, we're going to put 5 into 5 for cool hand, because reloading is very important in this game. It increases your DPS no end. We're going to put 1 point into drone delivery, because we will be using a grenade which our drone will deliver. Just a couple of points into salvation at Mayhem level 10. The damage that we're doing is going to be sufficient to give us lifesteal with just 2 points in there. Then we'll put death follow close to increase our kill skill bonuses. I like a 5 out of 5 in violence, because I like to use multi-pellet weapons like the Monarch over here, and that is a better skill to go with the Monarch. If you use single pellet weapons, you may prefer to put your points into playing dirty. A couple of points into good misfortune, which will help keep our action skill active, and 1 point into seeing red. It can't hurt to have a point in seeing red. We are going to be using the seeing dead com, but having this point here just ensures that we get our kill skills up automatically. Just speeds things up. Now the important tree, the clone tree. Now the most important skill to not take on this is fractal frags. We don't want our clone to be throwing any grenades. We want him to be shooting all the time. We're going to put 5 into strict synchronicity, so that we have both our action skills active, and it will increase our gun damage 20% per active action skill, so that'll be 40% in total. 5 out of 5 in Donnybrook, again more gun damage and some health regeneration. We'll put 5 out of 5 into borrowed time. This will extend action skill duration, which is important, and I put 3 out of 3 into Praemunitus to increase the magazine size. You could put the points into duct tape mod if you like. I've simply put a point there to help us get down the tree. Yes, this is an excellent skill. Whenever Zane swaps place with his clone, his shields immediately begin recharging and restores health to his clone. You want to be swapping a lot, even if you're standing next to your clone. Swap. It restores some health to your clone and will also give you damage. I take Old You because a second wind off your clone is very useful. 3 points into Supersonic Man, 12% per action skill active, so that will be 24% movement speed. Again, speed equals damage with Zane. We will put 1 point into Boom Enhance because when we summon our drone, it will give us extra gun damage, extra maximum health, fire rate, and digiclone duration, all for the cost of 3 grenades, which we don't use much anyway because our drone is doing most of the grenade delivery. And then finally, this is the one that gives us the gun. So, double barrel. The clone is equipped with a copy of Zane's current weapon when activated. Swapping places with the clone causes Zane and his clone to gain increased gun damage. So this gives our clone the O.P.Q, and it gives 25% gun damage. Now, our last 5 points, because this is a level 60 build, I will put them into ready for action because I like the shield recharge delay and recharge rate. But you can put these points anywhere that you see fit, as long as you avoid this skill here. Do not put any points into fractal frags. It'll be a big mistake. Augments, I happen to like Doppelbanger because if you deploy your clone and he mops up all the enemies and you want to move to another area, you don't want to have to be fiddling about swapping places with your clone. You just want to be able to take him to the new place and plop him down. So you can kill your clone with this and then reinstate him at the new location. And then I like to have Schadenfreude because when the clone takes damage, it heals my shield. Very useful. And then on the drone, I am choosing Static Field because that again will help keep my shield up. And I like to use action skill augment Bad Dose, which will give some weakening to enemies and buffs to Zane. You could change these out and use Winter's Drone and Boomsday if you wanted to, or any of the augments that go with the drone, whichever you feel is best suited to your playstyle. So when we deploy our clone,
over there was making eyes at your sister.
He has a copy of the O.P.Q. Now, the thing to remember about the O.P.Q is that it has splash damage, shock splash damage, and shock will wreck shields. Now, the thing that the clone will not do is stop shooting when enemies get close. So if an enemy is standing where roughly I am and the clone shoots him, the clone will go down. Now, the way that you prevent that is you use a transformer shield. We have one here, and quite nicely it has an anointment that will give us some movement speed bonus. Again, speed equals damage with Zane. When we deploy our clone, it gets a copy of our shield. And because the clone has the transformer shield on, and the transformer shield is 100% resistant to shock damage, the splash from the O.P.Q system will not kill the clone. In fact, the splash damage will restore the shield. Converts 100% of shock damage into shields. So, by equipping the transformer shield and giving the clone the O.P.Q system, we've essentially made him nigh on immortal. The comm that I like to use with this build is the Seeing Dead comm, and you can choose whichever one you particularly like. Currently I'm using this one because it increases the splash damage and the weapon damage, and it also increases pistol damage. I'm not a big pistol user, apart from one which I'm going to go through in a moment. Various artifacts. You can use a cut purse launch pad. By using a cut purse launch pad, by slamming, you will be able to replenish your ammunition. You can use a victory rush, and you can use a fish slap grenade. The fish slap grenade was also available from the cartel event. The fish slap grenade, being melee damage, will replenish your ammo, and the fish slap grenade will be deployed by your drone on this build. If you don't need the ammo, then it's recommended that you use an It's Piss grenade, because it debuffs by 20%, and this one has on grenade throw, weapon grenade, and importantly action skill damage is increased by 25%. So every time that the drone deploys the It's Piss grenade, we are going to give 25% action skill damage to the clone, along with damage for ourselves. So I prefer, if I don't need the ammo, to use a pearl, because it is a massive multiplicative damage bonus, and it's a good way of keeping the damage up. Because your clone and your drone are out all of the time, they will be keeping the consecutive hit stacks alive on this artifact, which means you will get this bonus pretty much all the time. Other weapons I like to use for this build on M10 are the Monarch, and I have them in a couple of different flavors, and the other gun which is very good at the moment for bossing, and also synergizes very well with this particular comm, is the Gargoyle. And I have a consecutive hits Gargoyle here that will be boosted by the comm's pistol damage. The splash damage from this weapon will be boosted by the comm, and obviously the weapon damage itself. This weapon here is a fantastic weapon for large armoured enemies like the Valkyries, Wotan, and the bosses in the new Guardian takedown. Right, that I believe is the build. One quick last look at the skills. I like to play with my Guardian rank on, and that is the modifiers that I like to have. Speed Demon is a great modifier for Zane because speed equals damage with Zane. Obviously you can play with the modifiers that you like, or if you so desire you can turn them off. And there we go, that's our Zane clone and drone build. What we're going to do now is step out into one of the trials, I think, and take a quick run through so you can see how effective this build is at Mayhem level 10. So we'll head on over there and we'll do some damage. So welcome back, we're over here at the Proving Grounds, the Trial of Cunning, and we're going to run through this with our build just to show off the combat potential. This isn't the most challenging trial, but it is a nice quick trial, and I feel that we'll be able to demonstrate the build more than adequately here.
Demonstrate your worth, Vault.
So, the first thing to remember with this build is that you must have the O.P.Q in your hand when you deploy your clone. And as you can see, that is absolutely wrecking even these anointed enemies. So all we need to do is go and stand near some enemies, switch to our clone. You can see I'm constantly switching, even when I'm next to Oh, if we needed to, we could have sacrificed our clone. I'm not really doing much in the way of shooting here. This is just to demonstrate the potential of the clone and the OPQ system. In fact, I'm barely firing a shot. Just carry on moving around, swapping to your clone all the time to restore health to it, and it will do the work for you. Right, through to the next area. Hardest thing with this build is remembering which way you've got to go after you've swapped. But the clone is perfectly happy there on his own, taking out the enemies. You can see that the damage from that O.P.Q system is absolutely stupid on the clone. That damage is being boosted by the action skill damage. Our clone is firing out, sorry, our drone is firing out its piss grenades. Every time it fires out its piss grenade, it will boost our damage and the damage of the clone.
All me.
Again, keep swapping. Every time you swap, you will make sure that your clone keeps healthy. And always just putting our clone in the best position to take care of the enemies. Rush away around here and take care of these couple of gentlemen.
I'm on fire! But not literally. Oh!
Not long now.
Okay, well, we appear to have managed to get over that and get ourselves lost. Right, I'm going to kill the clone now, just before the boss fight. We'll let our clone come back and our drone come back before we go and take on the boss. Just to make sure that we don't mess it up. Right, we've got our speed, we'll go over here, we'll plop our clone down right to where the boss is going to drop down. Boom. And there you go. That is the very, very overpowered clone and drone O.P.Q. Point and everything dies build. This is a great build for doing the takedowns with, for solo play, because you can use the old U skill here. There, that skill there, old U. If you do go down into fight for your life, you can sacrifice your clone to get back up again. It's like having a buddy, co-op buddy to play with, but one that doesn't spend all their time in the menus. So, I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial, and I hope you'll be tempted to try out this build. We'll just quickly look at our skill trees one more time. And that is the clone and drone build. Thank you very much for watching.